All right, so we're diving into a story today that, well, frankly, it reads like a real-life thriller. We've gotten a lot of requests to cover Laura's story, and wow, the accusations, the online harassment, this whole Gone Girl thing definitely hooked me from the jump.
Yeah, it's definitely a case that highlights, I think, just how quickly things can spiral in our digital world, and the very real consequences that come with online actions.
Absolutely. Reading through Laura's account, you really get this feeling of being trapped, almost like those walls are closing in as the accusations keep piling on. Stalking, online threats, it's just relentless. And it went on for over 2 years, right?
2 years is a long time to live under that kind of pressure cooker of stress and fear. I mean, just going on the excerpts we have, it's clear to see the psychological toll it takes to deal with that level of harassment, constantly looking over your shoulder, never truly feeling safe, even in your own home.
Absolutely. And as if that wasn't bad enough, she's trying to get help, going to the police, the Frisco police specifically, but she hits a brick wall. There's even this quote where she says, "You don't understand. I've been stalked, threatened, and harassed for 2 years." It's sadly a common refrain we hear from victims of online harassment. Why do you think that is? What makes it so difficult to find justice in these situations?
Well, it's a complex issue, but a big part of it comes down to the inherent nature of online spaces. I mean, think about it. Gathering solid evidence that would hold up in court can be incredibly difficult. You're talking about proving intent, trying to unmask anonymous users, and then demonstrating a direct link between their online actions and actual harm in the real world. Like, well, almost like trying to nail Jell-O to a wall.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It almost feels like victims are set up to fail.
Yeah.
So is there anything they can do to kind of, I don't know, bolster their case when dealing with something like this?
Oh, absolutely. Documentation is paramount. Saving screenshots, taking meticulous notes about every single instance of harassment, and I do mean every single one, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem at the time, all of that can be absolutely crucial if the case ever goes further. And of course, reaching out to organizations specializing in online harassment is huge. They can offer guidance, connect victims with resources, sometimes even provide legal aid.
Right. That makes sense. So going back to Laura's story, we have this wild turn of events when she stumbles upon a TikTok account, username Gone Girl, very on the nose, and initially her mind goes to her ex-husband, Patrick, maybe his new wife, Rachel, right? Sticking the knife in a little.
Yeah, it's a totally understandable leap, especially given the circumstances, right?
Yeah.
It speaks volumes about the breakdown of trust that often comes hand in hand with these situations.
Mhm.
Suddenly, you're second-guessing everyone, questioning everything. It can really make you feel like you're losing your grip on reality.
Yeah, for sure. But then, plot twist, turns out it was Karen all along, someone Laura knew personally, someone she never would have suspected. Talk about a kick in the gut. To be betrayed like that by someone you thought you could trust.
It definitely injects a whole other layer of complexity into an already horrific situation. It really throws the insidious nature of online harassment into sharp relief. This cloak of anonymity, it can hide anyone, even the people closest to us.
It's chilling, honestly. So at this point, Laura's just, well, she's at her wit's end with the Frisco police, and she makes the decision to try her luck with the Little M police. Can you really blame her for wanting a fresh set of eyes on the case? Maybe a different outcome.
No, not at all. It's actually fairly common. Hoping another jurisdiction might be more receptive, more willing to listen. And in this instance, Laura doesn't show up empty-handed. She's got records from Our Family Wizard, which, as you know, is that platform a lot of divorced parents use to manage custody exchanges and communication logs, and it's all right there. Evidence of threats, even mentions of third-party surveillance and violation of privacy, all documented.
She came prepared. Sadly, though, even with all of that, convincing authorities to actually pursue action against Patrick and Rachel remained a hurdle.
It speaks to the difficulties inherent in cases like this. Proving online harassment and then holding the perpetrators accountable is a challenge, even when there is evidence. It often boils down to a he said, she said situation, and unfortunately, without irrefutable proof, it can be incredibly difficult for law enforcement to step in and take decisive action.
And it's heartbreaking because this fight for justice, it ends up having devastating consequences for Laura. Karen's web of lies and manipulation leads to Laura's children being taken away.
It's a truly devastating outcome, and one that really underscores the far-reaching ripple effects of false accusations. The damage isn't just isolated to the immediate victim. It impacts families, relationships, and in this case, even parental rights.
Yeah, it's a harsh reality. Despite all of that, even in the thick of it, we still see these glimpses of Laura's resilience. There's this small detail about her finding a moment of comfort in making brea tacos. It's a reminder that even when things feel incredibly bleak, Those small acts of normalcy, of self-care, can be so
And
important.
absolutely. Holding on to something familiar, something comforting, those little things can truly make a world of difference when it comes to navigating trauma and stress.
For sure. And what's striking is that Laura hasn't given up. She's still fighting for her kids, for her reputation, for her truth to finally be acknowledged. It's inspiring in a way.
It really makes you pause and think, what can we do collectively as a society to better support people like Laura? How can we build a system where their voices are truly heard, where justice is more readily served, and where the deeply damaging consequences of online harassment are treated with the seriousness they deserve?
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves.